And there you go, folks. We're live for another week on Friday SEO Chat. Join us this week informally is Jim Hedger. How's it going, buddy?
It's excellent. How you doing?
Good, man. Oh, there was Bill. There goes Bill. You'd think he's done enough of these. But no, Bill still pops in and out. But anyways, so where do we have some fun today?
SEO Dead again.
Yeah, Doc, it wasn't too tough. Yeah, buddy. Well, Jim, I wanted to get into your article, but I just don't think we could get into yours without getting into this first.
Sure. Andrew Edwards, let's go for it.
It's just, you know, we did cover your article as well as this one on the regulators this week, so we're a little warmed up on this shit. Okay, so, you know, I read this a few times, and he does the is SEO dead instead of SEO is dead, and then he kind of, you know, hangs around on the fence for a while, you know, and then finally at the end, you know, he's sort of like, maybe it's not, maybe it is, and so it's not one of those definitive let's link bait the shit out of the industry kind of things. So, you know, he gave it he tried a bit, but I don't know. Somebody told me this guy is an ex-SEO. Was that you, Jim? I think, or somebody was going off about this poor bastard, and he isn't even an SEO anymore.
Somebody in one of the comments said he had been out of the industry for 3 years. I don't think it was me who said that. But I remember reading that somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was one of the comments.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, and then the second thing I think that's again very telling is that a lot of what he's talking about looks like he's referencing, you know, shitty link building. You know, so. Okay, is shitty link building dead might be a better, headline for it, and then maybe he might have some sort of a point. But to try and say that the entire concept or process or industry is somehow now useless because of the fact that you can't build crap links doesn't even make sense. You know, again, you know, Jim, you and I talked this week about this, and I have clients with 1.5 mil links that are clean, and another guy with 890,000 links that are clean, and you know, I'm spending my time cleaning, getting architecture right, getting usability right, consulting with the content people and the social teams, and this is what I'm doing as part of my job because I don't need the links, you know. So, you know, that's what I kind of took from this. I don't know. What was your take?
Well, first off, I didn't write my article in response to this. It was a fluke of timing. I wrote my article last week actually in reaction to a conversation my partner, Alan Konecki, had and I were having about defining our business. This one touches on a lot of the stuff. It was just, you know, serendipity. It touches on a lot of stuff I mentioned in my article. I get the sense that the author, Andrew Edwards, has a... either he was in the industry or he has a passing knowledge of the industry. He knows a little
or as Terry would say, he was in the industry and then he had to get out of it because the shit he was doing wasn't working anymore, so he's got a bad view of the industry.
That's totally possible, but I don't know if that's true or not, you know, but yeah. That's way possible.
How long ago?
What he does know was informed of the SEO that was done and written about over the last, 5 years.
What was that?
Link building.
I said he's saying SEO doesn't work anymore, but then he's talking about tactics like stuffing keywords in the keywords.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
well,
1988 wants its SEO back.
Well, again, in this guy's defense, he did say in the olden days it was all about keyword stuffing.
Yeah, but he's saying SEO is tricks, and that's all.
Oh, Bill, I agree with you. The guy's dead wrong on his interpretation, but what I'm trying to figure out is what informed his interpretation, right? Where does this come from?
If he was forced to quit SEO, it's because
he sucked.
His clients were pissed off.
There is that possibility, yeah.
You know, that's what I thought, Bill. To me, it was like sour grapes because he didn't know anything else to do, and once his crap stopped working, he had to go work somewhere else. You know?
Right. It's like the angry villagers coming after him with the torches.
But you want to know what really ticked me off about this article? Not the subject matter. I mean, how many times have we read SEO is Dead articles?
It's
But
funny. It's a cliche.
quarters, one of these things come up, right?
I think I read one the first day I became an SEO like 20 years ago.
What really pissed me off about this article is not necessarily what was published, but where it was published.
Yeah.
This was published in ClickZ. ClickZ came out of Search Engine Watch, which came out of Search Engine Strategies, which came out of the house that Danny Sullivan built.
Right.
And, you know, it's like they're slipping into mediocrity on purpose. It just... Our industry provided the content that built the little empire ClickZ came out of.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know who's editing at ClickZ right now. I do know who's managing the whole ClickZ Live events going into the future, and I think there's a relationship between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're bean counters from London, and I don't think they know the industry. ClickZ is one of the more important blogs in the industry. Whether it's, whether you like the information there or not, a lot of people read it and think it's representative of what we do. And it's not, and they don't know what they should and shouldn't print, and that pisses me off.
It's diet SEO. 10% of the calories.
Yeah, well, maybe they only use 10% of their brain matter. I don't
That
know.
goes deeper, or not quite all the way to incisive, Jim, because ClickZ also are the group that took over the iSearch discussion group and killed it in less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well...
Due to not knowing the industry and putting a person that had very close ties to paid advertising and at every corner basically called us spammers and that everyone should be using AdWords. On more than one occasion, I basically told them that.
Now, here's the thing. These things happened. You were involved. You had a conversation with them. You probably tried to take the high road at the beginning and say, hey, dial this back a little bit. Let's concentrate on the community who's actually here. And they, for whatever reason, they made the choice not to engage with you. And they kept on the path they were on, right?
Yeah, and they didn't retain the moderator being the moderator for years. And, that discussion groups have leaders, and they basically removed the leader at the top, and it crumbled.
And I bet you in that case, that leader didn't cost them a cent on their bottom line. It was probably somebody who was doing it as a
I think
volunteer.
that's what it was when ClickZ took it over. He wanted to get paid.
Okay.
Well, anyways, we wandered off into fucking Netherlands.
Yeah.
Well, we are and we aren't, David, because, again, this harkens on the stuff that was in the article. You got to know the background to know what you're doing when your fingers are on the keyboard.
Yeah, but again, this is not unusual, I guess, over the years. Like you said, it's more of the location than it is anything. If it was some idiot writing it on some unknown publication, then, we wouldn't care so much.
But this was ClickZ, and ClickZ has weight, although it might have shed a few pounds in the last week.
A lot. And in the last several months as well.
Well, I get the sense we're not their target market at this point.
There you go.
Left behind, again.
So, okay, all fun, but let's move on to more positive discussions.
Yes.
Which is why we decided to show up here anyways, was Jim. You want to give us a synopsis of your little, for starters, I guess, congratulations. Been a while since you wrote something. Yay.
Thank you.
Podcast talking is just too easy, isn't it?
Well, it felt really good writing this. It's been a long time since I've written about SEO, mostly because I don't like writing about fad SEO, and it's felt like the last, 4 or 5 years up until the beginnings of the Panda, Penguin, Caffeine, etc. All the slew of recent updates. That's felt fresh and new, but the industry felt stagnant for a long time, so I wasn't able to write. Nothing happened. I got this article out last week, again in reaction to a conversation my business partner, Alan Kneck, and I were having about how SEOs define their businesses, how we define our business. We got a problem. the fly-by-nighters, and you know, I do put the blame squarely at the feet of the elders in the industry, and that's a little bit of a mistake because Google shares a little bit of the blame too. They made the system that people reacted to, that people adapted and evolved to. But I'm tired of the link bait, link building, fly-by-night snake oil side of the SEO industry building our reputation. And I think there's a lot of really talented, passionate, intelligent
given
people here.
Given the Debris here, I'm not even going to lump it into just the link building crap. It's pretty much any crap. You know, there's still people with submitting to search engine fucking services and all kinds of crazy stuff. You know what I mean? I think crap is across the board in all areas of SEO. You know?
Okay, but again, the question I'm asking in the article is, it's been like 15 years since SEO has been a known service. It's a decade and a half. It's a long time. Why are the spammers, the scammers, the people, the 500 search engines, and charge you for it? Why are they able to get away with it still?
Okay, because you know we've had this argument so many fucking times, and you know what I mean. I really do see both sides of it in the sense that it's also the lack of education a client has.
Yes.
But oftentimes when, you know, me and Steve or Terry are talking, you know, Steve also takes the point that the client shouldn't need to know it, or else they, you know, just to hire someone, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that big divide. You know, if consumers were more educated, our customers, then they would be able to see through a lot of this, but they're not, because that's why they're coming to us. So this is where the chicken and egg problem comes in with it. You know what I mean? That crap SEO guys are out there because people buy their services. There's small business owners with, you know, hardly any money to spend, and some jackass, you know, selling $2.99 fucking goodies ends up doing crap work for them, and thus they exist is because they get hired. You know, so to me, it's how people always say, let's stamp out the crap ads, and I'm like, well, where do you have to start with your potential consumers, don't you?
Well, indeed, and then I absolutely agree with you, and I think our potential consumers are themselves consumed by a myth. The myth is that we're wizards, we're manipulators, we're out there like screwing with Google for fun and profit. That's the myth, and it's not true. Anybody who's watching this now, David, I know you have a meticulous practice, which is a lot of, you know, repetition, actually, you know, very precise repetition. It's not, you're not out there manipulating Google, you're making better websites so Google can better read that website and make use of the content within. That's not manipulation. That's
what did we get into, Terry, the other day in the show was manipulation, right?
Yeah.
There's unwanted and unwanted manipulation. So yeah, if I'm manipulating Google by sending them a 301 response code that takes them to a page where that content now resides, I am manipulating them in a positive light that's enabling them to do their job better. Whereas if I'm doing something else to manipulate, like crappy links or some networks or whatever, that's unwanted. So yeah, it's a level of what we're doing with it.
Here's the thing: I've also heard SEOs go as far as, you know, Google doesn't want us to optimize titles. Really, that's complete and utter nonsense. That's
Indeed.
People who basically want to paint things the way they really aren't. Because, you know, if you've been around a while, like Jerry Yang actually gave a password to the members of the guild, so, and which was full of SEOs, to go to the head of line at Yahoo, the biggest search engine at the time. So I don't think he thought we were all manipulators. You find a lot of SEOs are also fantastic web designers, web developers. That's how they do their SEO.
Terry, you've been watching the Q&A. Your stalker is here.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
Click on the Q&A there, man.
Terry's got a stalker?
Yeah.
Like for real? For real?
No, it's just it's Steve, our third regulator.
Oh, you don't want to be stalked by him. He's crazy.
You know, there's another aspect to the issue of educating webmasters and site owners too that makes it more difficult. If I as a site owner looking and trying to determine who makes sense, and I'm seeing because of A, crap hats, and B, constantly changing issues with Google, then right off the bat I'm going to think, who are these dipshits? Nobody can agree. Nobody knows. This guy said this last month. Now he says something different this month. So that doesn't instill confidence either.
Well, again, fair enough. I would like, how to say this? I don't think SEO is very complicated. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of things you need to keep track of. There's a lot of things you need to measure, and there's, I can't even imagine how much one needs to know to be a good practicing SEO. Terry, you were talking about designers. If you're not a designer, if you don't know HTML, you're not an SEO.
This is why, you know, when I found Bill back in '06 or whatever, it changed how my entire life and how I do this job. Because I think it's exceptionally complicated, and all the things I read and take in and learn about patents, papers elsewhere, I integrate into a holistic, as Terry was saying, when he does SEO, builds a website, it's holistic, but it increases that holistic view of my theories and how I go about what I do. I think it's far more complicated than a lot of people actually think. You know what I mean? Most people start thinking about audits, they're like, oh, your meta descriptions, you got too many of these titles, and they're not thinking much deeper than that, you know? So, anyways, sorry, I just had to step in there.
You have to think at it at a complex level when you're looking at the big picture. When it comes to implementation, KISS is always best. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. The strategy and the thought process is more difficult than any implementation.
And as I said, there's a lot you need to know to have the background to be able to make the calculations, assumptions, or estimations that you have to make on a daily basis. That goes without saying. If you don't have that background and don't have that knowledge, you're not really practicing SEO. You might be doing a component of it, but you're not doing a holistic. You're not taking a holistic view of the document, site, or property that you're working on. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, see.
When you get down to it, as Terry said, the application is really quite simple.
Well, again, because a lot of the times I'm not even implementing. I'm liaisoning with PR departments and social media departments and the development team who's implementing the recommendations and so forth and so on. You know, I'm as much a liaison as I am in a lot of what I do as anything. So, you know, I'm not even implementing. I'm literally just giving, okay, from a search engine view, here's some ways we might want to adapt that social media program or this and that, you know. Yep. Which isn't, again, manipulation, it's just enabling it. You know, I don't fuck around.
My issue is the more people think SEO is this insanely complicated thing, and yep, there's a lot of moving pieces. It's a very complex machine. But we have to find ways to explain simply what we do without getting into the idea that we're magically changing things at Google, pushing Google to do this or that. We're not. We're building websites to conform to a set of standards. And
Bill, it's not rocket science, it's computer science. I have an actual SEO Dojo T-shirt with that. I said, really? You know, this ain't rocket science, it's computer science.
Peter put his 10 years in at NASA before he moved to their backyard and walked into Google's offices. He was definitely a rocket scientist.
Deb was mentioning something we talked about, actually, I think it was before we went on air, which was the certification. Yeah, Deb, I don't know if you're talking today or you're just typing, but anyways, yeah, we actually had a bit of this conversation because Steve was relating it to the MCSE programs with Microsoft and things of that nature. And you know, if you look at Google, they've got already, you know, you've got Google Analytics certified, you've got you know, AdWords certified. I believe there's one for the testing tool. I don't know, but you know, Steve's thought was that, you know, someone like Google doesn't do it, would certification ever work? Yeah, and so everyone freaks out. Oh my God, it's Google, but these things already exist, and if I do it, or if Maz does it, or, you know, Aaron does it over at the book group, you know, nobody's going to line behind that certification. So, you know, I think certification would help with weeding out some of the crap hats, or at least better educating, because sometimes these crap hats don't even know better. You know what I mean? They're literally just guys who used to be web designers like we were once upon a time, or myself, and started doing some SEO one day, and so they're just ill-informed, and they're not hanging in the right groups. Like your second article, Jim, that hasn't gone out yet. You know, they're just not traveling in the right circles to get educated on a high level. You know,
And you know what? If they
certification runs into a wall, I think.
Here's the thing, like, we've been talking about certification in the industry since the formation of SEMPO in, like, 2004. We've been talking about certification forever.
SEMPO was never talked about certification.
It
In
was
fact,
so.
in the beginning, they were dead set.
You were talking about certification with SEO Pros at one time.
I was, yeah.
Had the conversation for years.
And I was leaning more towards a standard for SEO Pros.
And that was your way of approaching it, which was, I thought, really appropriate. Because that was you in your community saying, this is what we want here. And you weren't trying to say, this is how all SEOs got to behave.
You can't get people to go for that. And I don't blame them, right?
Precisely. You would have been starting.
I have my way of doing
that wasn't necessary.
For me, that may not necessarily work for, you know, Bill Bean, Bill Slosky, Jim Hedger, Deborah. Yeah. We all do things. Have our own magic sauce, or
but you know what I mean, Terry. Okay, but you and I have talked to lots of people over the years about this kind of stuff. I always go with the terms best practices because as soon as you say certification, everyone starts to freak the fuck out. So I always just say we'll call it best practices. But there are so many things, you know what I mean, like title lengths and response header codes and redirects, and there are so many things that you could at least standardize and educate that people know these things. You know, the hazier, fringe stuff, obviously not, but I still think there's enough elements that you could have some form of best practices. But again, unless you get enough leaders in the industry or thought leaders or whatever the fuck we call them these days, unless you get enough of them on board with it, it's going nowhere.
Or, if we're going to have certification, I'd prefer to see it be from within our industry, not from Google. I would not like that. But our industry
turn around and take your certification away for actually following and giving a client what they wanted.
There you go, Terry. What we don't want to give.
Search engines cannot be in charge of it because there are situations where the client may not want to follow the guidelines. And to me, all types of SEO is SEO. There is not one good kind and one bad kind. There is a kind for every circumstance. It depends upon people's risk.
Well, totally agreed, dude. Totally agreed. Now, like David just said, nobody but Google actually has the heft to force compliance with a certification program. So if they do, that would be very worrisome.
But it's not even compliance. Again, it's something that a consumer would be aware of. That at least, again, it comes back to the getting rid of the crap hats thing. And do we ever? I don't know. Is there not a million contractor jokes out there because everyone and his brother's a carpenter?
Yeah, and you know what? That comes down to the consumer. If you want someone to build your back deck and you're going to give them $5,000 to build your back deck, you research who they are. You find out who their other customers were. Did they build a good deck or not build a good deck? It's caveat emptor. The consumer has to take responsibility, but they got to be educated so they know what they're looking for. And again, we miseducate when we talk about myths.
I don't believe in education of the customer because I don't have to learn about law to get a decent lawyer. I don't have to, learn about how to fix a fucking car to go to a decent mechanic. Here's the thing, right? If I know how to hire you based on knowing enough about SEO to hire you, guess what? I don't fucking need you anymore.
I don't know about that, Ter. I save you a whole bunch of time.
Do I have the time to do it myself, or do I want to pay you?
Again, Ter, we're going to disagree on this one. I think the best client is a well-educated client.
Sadly, Terry,
I'm used to people disagreeing with me, Jim, so there's no problem.
I worked for the courts for years in Delaware. The most informed legal analyst I ran across got his education on death row.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knew all about the law. He knew the law better than his lawyers.
There's something
on death row.
He had most incentive.
Motivation, eh?
Well, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like my own personal disorder, I know better than most doctors I meet because I've been researching it, reading about Been learning about it for 15 fucking years when some of these guys are still in fucking high school, you know. So I'm not often that I'll meet a doctor who actually knows as much or more than I do on that topic. So.
Plus, your personal experience is a big part of it too. That was something when I was looking at the Google Raiders thing, which we're going to talk about later. I found that part of it very interesting. Exactly who is an expert would surprise some people.
Oh, well, I liked. We'll jump into this in a few minutes. I don't want to get stuck on it, but I actually liked that part of the document a lot. I found
That's the only part I found useful.
Yeah, we'll get there in a bit. We'll get there in a bit. Okay, so Jim, I guess I'll circle back around. Back to your article here for a second. So let's see. Clipping who? Yeah. So never deal with it. I think that's what we're in the middle of at the moment with the clients, with the certification. I think it all kind of comes back with the, it all comes back to this. I'm not, I've been very, as you know, because I do cleanup work, I'm very pissed at crappy SEO because I look at it a lot. I spend a lot of my fucking day staring at garbage wanting to strangle someone. A little more going on in I'm not sure you ever fix that. It's always been there, hasn't it? I really have run out of ideas on how to fix it. And at the end of the day, what bothers me the most is of course, I
met with a client.
Well, give me 2 seconds, Johnny, then you can go. The part that bothers me the most is, of course, as you all know, is not the crappy SEO, because once the site gets burned and the owner, gets hurt, they go in. They've still got other idiots buying their $59.99 packages, so they're not the ones who get hurt by what Google's doing. And as as Terry and Jim know about a certain project I'm working on, these people have to end up paying the price because of Google's actions. Because of, hey, let's not just devalue those links and start putting blog posts out saying, blog posting, stick a fork in it. If you're still doing it, you're not getting any value for those links. Ha ha ha! Have a nice day. And the industry would get it. I talked to Matt once a year and a half ago about this, and I said, listen, they all figured out how to use anchor text and everything else without you telling them, didn't they? So they will figure out eventually, if you just stop counting links, not to do these kind of things anymore without you having to hurt the business owner. And because that's what happens at the end of the day. The crap hats go off and sell more than $59.99 packages. It's the fucking poor site owner that gets screwed.
Dave, then tell me this. If that's the case, Google has not been counting links or some links for quite some time. How come we never hear any talk about that?
That's fine. Then those SEOs can go out of business because they're not getting their clients anything done.
Right.
I get it. I understand. You're just like Matt. Matt said they don't. And you said to me at the time when you and I were looking at the emails, you said, Dave, come on, man, you got to hit them with a big fucking hammer. They still. And that's kind of what Matt said. Matt was like, they don't really listen. And,
There is nothing on earth that's new.
To continue doing. See, here's the thing. What they're doing now is easy to scale. And that is the mindset of a lot of SEOs is about scaling. And because a lot of the stuff now does not scale, they're all wondering, well, what do I do? Well,
so I have to speak up for your stalker now, Terry, and he said, I know how to mow my lawn, but I still hire people to do it better. But go to the questions, dude. He's got an article here for you. I don't know.
Is it Steve?
Yes, it's Steve. He's got a few in there for you, buddy. You might want to go check him out.
Good thing. I'm glad you didn't let him in. It would have did Terry right into what it did on.
So I was sorry, folks, while I watched, and I wasn't monitoring here, but yes. Yeah, Steve also said just because you have a certification, that does not mean. Well, Steve, why don't you just fucking come in here? But, anyways, and that's both Steves. We got the pair of Steves out there now, man. This is getting a little too much, you two. Holy fuck, Steve! Really? What is your beard not? His beard's not combed or something. Anyways, all right. Sorry, who was going there? Johnny, you wanted to jump in, didn't you?
Yeah, I met with a gentleman yesterday or the day before, and you know, we talked, and he said, well, you know what, I was hoping to find somebody to build links. And I was like, well, that's not what I do. I'm not interested in that. You know, the way to go now is to, you know, try to get some activity on social media, Google Plus, you know, write real content that'll be shared. And he has somebody who's in his business is building like a link farm, and it's working. You know, I mean, I was telling him, well, you know, down the road, I mean, if you want a long-term business, maybe it's working now, but eventually it's going to get slammed.
Well, that's it. They didn't think out Penguin properly, so they haven't been able to run it lately while they're trying to fix some shit. But once they figure, you know, you can see the motivation is there, so eventually down the road, like you're saying, it's probably not going to work out.
Well, he robbed 3 banks before they caught him.
Bingo.
Yeah, I was just like this for a while. There's stuff that works out there that people I mean, I see sites that I can't believe
Stevie
are working and doing what they're doing, but you know.
And again, a lot of stuff was and is still working. You know what I mean? Somebody in the Facebook group referenced that fucking post, referenced and Bill corrected it, which was, you know, what was it, Bill? The breaking the spirits of spammers, I believe.
Yeah, we will listen to the lamentations of the women. We will.
But anyways, you know, they really haven't broken the spirit of the spammers. That's the problem. Again, you know, the black hats are having happy days. Just they know their threshold between a manual action and a penguin. Penguin disappeared for all intents and purposes at this point. They're having a good old time. The crap hats are fine, like I said, because they're just selling more $59.99 packages. It tends to be the business owners who get screwed by this shit at the end of the day.
And that's a problem. Like, that's a problem that we got to take responsibility for as an industry to some degree. Google can't test anywhere but live time, you know, on that kind of scale. I feel bad for the small businesses. I feel terrible for small businesses. David, you and I were having this conversation a couple weeks ago. That could have been their mortgage or their kids' you know, school payments, tuition.
Well, like I told you the other day, that one site I showed you, you know, buddy's looking at anywhere from 15 to 20 grand a year just for proactive measures to prevent against attacks and things like that. That the services and tools he needs are going to cost him 15 to 20 grand a fucking year, and I don't think he's making a shit ton of money, you know. And so that's coming out of someone's bottom line again, Steve. Why? Because they're dry. You know.
When I say it's our responsibility, I don't necessarily mean it's our fault. But it's something that we have to take. We got to take control of this. We're at a maturation point in the search engine optimization industry now. Everything is changing. It's, you know, it's times of change actually are quite subtle. You don't notice the change is happening until it's actually happened. We're there now. If we represent ourselves, independent businesses, we got to get control of the scammers.
What was that, Bill?
And we were there yesterday, and we were there last week, and we were there last month.
Certainly.
And I was in a PubCon session that was SEO 101, and Brett sends all emails saying send emails amongst yourselves about what you're going to talk about. And I came up with a list of like 10 different things and sent it out to everybody, and these people looked at it and sent replies back saying, that's too advanced, Bill. And my response to that was, it was out 5 years ago. If it's not part of what you're doing for SEO, maybe you should go do something else.
And you know what? You should say that more often, loudly.
Uh-huh.
And it sucks. It's awful to say something like that to somebody. But it's better than watching them rip off Ma and Pa, right?
Yeah, again, I think some of it's to an extent reaching the consumers. You know, I started talking to some people recently about trying to expand where I write. Forget writing at search engine land and the known locations. I need to be where the people that might be buying our services are hanging out. You know, like
I go to inbound.org and see a link to Google 200 ranking factors infographic.
I think we got it up to 204, didn't we? I don't know.
Well, the guy ripped off the old Vaughn SEO 200 ranking factors post. It's been on the web for 5-10 years, and he stole half of them, rewrote the other half, took 20 hours, and at inbound.org it got more than 200 points upvoted, more than 200 points.
Hey man, you know that took me a whole 20 hours, right?
Yeah, with all these people writing, this is great, exactly what I need. I'm going to print this out and show it to my client. It's like, man, I hope they laugh their heads off at you.
Problem is, they probably both don't think, wow,
Crap like that at inbound.org, which is supposed to be about marketing, and these people know nothing about Google. It was sad.
Well, there's a fair amount of them that don't know a hell of a lot about marketing, too.
Well, I think they know less about marketing than they do about SEO.
And they know even less about optimization of HTML elements.
Uh-huh. Now, I go to that page, and I see 30 or 40 or 50 comments about how great it is, and I write a comment about how much crap there is there. That people need to stand up and say, this is crap. And nobody does.
Problem is, dude, I've been standing up and saying that for fucking years and no one listens.
Maybe it's not about people needing to stand up. Maybe it's about the rest of us needing to back them when they do.
Maybe it is.
A big issue.
Yeah, but again, we're only preaching to the choir. We're only talking amongst ourselves. If the potential clients aren't seeing this debate or these information, I'm not sure what effect it has at the end of the day. Again, you know, I mean, I've done zillions of podcasts and fucking videos and fucking articles and all kinds of shit talking about this kind of crap and crap hats in general. It hasn't had a damn bit of effect as far as I can see.
Well, as far as you can see. But let's assume that it's had an effect that you may or may not know about. It's had to have had an effect. Somebody read it. And I don't know. I'm naive. I'm totally naive. I'm an optimist. It goes with the profession, I guess.
That kind of optimist.
I strongly believe that if that consistent and coordinated effort works. I really do believe that, and it may take years. But it's better than doing nothing.
Simple one, Jim. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
And that's just a basic way to live your life, yeah. But going beyond that, none of us are craphead SEOs. We don't want to be. We've for some reason or another, we've decided that we want to practice our businesses straight up. Glad we made that decision. Feels good. But
I know at least two other people that have actually done things similar, sitting in this panel right now.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot more of it going on. They're just not as vocal. Some people tend to work in the background.
Well, there's another.
He's obviously talking about me because I'm so quiet.
Yeah, that must be it. The other thing is too, you know, you gotta think about the fact if Rand Fishkin says, I think this is a new active ranking factor, okay, and I or Terry or Dave come up and say, I think Rand Fishkin is full of shit because there's no causation there. This is a flawed test. This is all conjecture, okay. The average reader out there that happens to follow the mods is going to look at, okay, this guy's got 104,000 followers, this guy's got 417 followers. Who obviously is more knowledgeable? That's the way they look at it. You've got all these followers, you've got this massive community, you've got this tremendous visibility, so you must be more believable, right? It's bullshit. And that's where I think, you know, and this is a discussion I've had with Rand before, you know, you've got to understand the fact when you have that massive a following, you have a different responsibility than the guy that's got 37 followers. Because everything that your site says, whether you say it personally or not, is suddenly given an extra amount of weight, credibility, whether it deserves it or not. And there's a responsibility to ensure that is used in a responsible fashion. Okay, so people look at follower numbers, they look at, you know, your clout score, whatever the hell it is, just how often they see you pop up on Twitter as some sort of a credibility factor in their own mind, and that's a real problem.
Yeah, well, basically, if you look at it, industry leaders in this industry are not leaders. Period.
Well,
they certainly might. Most of them tend to
They
have.
collect dollars. That's what they.
That's, I was going to say. But I think most of them have a vested interest in not chopping off a segment of their market, Terry. They start ranting about shitty SEOs.
Don't think about things like that, Dave. Leaders of an industry lead the industry where it should be going.
Terry,
Our leaders tend to take down the road that puts the most money in their pockets.
When a herd of lemmings go off the cliff, the first one over the edge is the leader, okay? Doesn't mean he's any goddamn good, but he's the leader.
Hey guys, can I throw some positive energy into this conversation?
Do it.
You know something I love about communities like the SEO Dojo? Really, really appreciate about this community in particular, the SEO Dojo, but there's others out there. A lot of ideas get brought into the conversation at the dojo. And then everybody takes that idea and plays with it, beats up on it, tries it, tests it, whatever. I would suggest that more ideas in the dojo are rejected in a really friendly way than accepted by the entire group. And that's like peer review. And that works.
Yep.
I love communities that do that.
And it's always evolving, you know what I mean? You're like, I haven't done anything local in about 6 months, so you go and find someone who's been doing local. Okay, what's changed? What's new? What's that? You got
and then this conversation happens, and everybody learns. It's like this pay-it-forward intellectual economy. I wish. I mean, that happens at Moz as well. But I know those pronouncements that come out that become like weight of God pronouncements. They make me very nervous. They may serve to misinform clientele, and I don't know if they've been tested around enough yet.
I would agree with that, Jim. And I'm not singling out Moz to throw rocks at. I mean, there's an awful lot of people out there that have managed to establish some level of notoriety that I don't think they handle that notoriety as responsibly as they should, given the size of their audience.
Well, again, if you're writing something, you're putting it out in the public realm, you're giving advice, you got to remember that the person following it might be investing their mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that as like your baseline, the little sword of Damocles hanging over your own head. You don't want to make a mistake because somebody else might get hurt.
I don't know. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
I don't know, buddy, but I think I'm kind of with Terry on this one in the sense that everyone we consider to be leaders have vested interests in not cutting off a segment of their market by chastising any kind of SEO. Meaning, like, who are leaders? Danny Sullivan, Rand Fishkin, these people, they all have a product that SEOs consume, so I don't think they're the ones that are ever going to start, alienating any part of the segment of the industry.
Right, and I don't blame them for that, David, because they have employees that they're responsible too.
Right, it's a business, which is good.
I'm not saying it to be negative about the leaders. I'm just saying they're running businesses. Their key interest is not necessarily the industry as a whole. Their main thing is their business.
Okay, to be fair, I've seen Danny go after crap at SEO in the past. Like at Watch, when he was at Search Engine Watch and at Search Engine Land. I just want to get that in there. Like I have.
But I think like we're talking about here, it's going to take a concerted effort on an ongoing basis. By when we do.
Yeah.
I say Bill's become jaded enough. We should let him do it. He'll be our front man.
Bill has come along nicely, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's got that jaded merit badge now.
Yes. We directed him nicely.
Is anybody keeping track of the chat that's happening off to the side? Because Deborah Bistaller just made a really smart point. She wrote, "People like us, those of us sitting here, those of us, those of us who actively speak at conferences, various conferences, on the face of the industry, we're a very small representation of the total industry. There's thousands out there you never hear of or know exist. Most people don't know who we are and have a passing. They've heard of people like Rand casually, and they're learning at a local level. she's saying that if you want to affect change, you do it there at the local level, at the meetups. What do you all think about that?
Then Sempo has actually quite a good system for that. So they might be someone to talk to about that.
Well,
I am an advocate of the face-to-face stuff because I'm still old school. It seems somewhat anachronistic to bring that up in a group like this, that geographic locality would be the definition of local. Because Steve G, how much influencing are you going to do at a local level?
Zero.
The goat may not bite them.
Yeah, and that's not to go. That's just to add a nuance to it. That's not a counterpoint to what Deborah was saying. Because granted, if you were in Dallas or Atlanta, anywhere a denser population, you've got a pretty good handle of there being a pretty vibrant, healthy network of local people, which would be preferred. I know in our area around Indianapolis, there is not quite such a cooperative attitude with regards to the industry, and most of the groups tend to be marketing efforts, the local HubSpot user group, for instance, and that sort of thing.
Bill, you know what? Terry and I both live in a city of like 4 million people, and we got the same thing happening here.
Yeah.
The people who do form the meetup groups, they tend to have some public relations interest rather than technical expertise interest. Yeah, I see you nodding, Terry. You seem to agree.
Yeah.
So so how about maybe Deborah could comment on what's an example or two of something she could see coming out of the local, other than what Bill and her were talking about. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on that never gets seen by very many people. So that's very true. But when we're talking about affecting change, how does that come into play?
My whole philosophy of local has changed dramatically in the last 2 years. Seeing how the nearest town has only 900 people in it, and the one I live in has 600.
Wow.
I've stopped thinking of local as a term of geography and more as a term of sphere of influence. I have a fairly large impact in the jewelry community, and they're scattered all over the world. But that's my sphere. That's the people I hang out with. That's the people I talk to on a regular basis. So when I think local, I don't think necessarily the guy next door. I think the people in my group. So I guess maybe that's a different way of looking at your local sphere. If your local sphere of influence is only SEOs, you're preaching to the choir.
That's probably true. I just want to get back to Bill earlier asked Deborah to reply to something she said. So Deborah cites the Dallas-Fort Worth SEM organization, dfwsem.org. Small group that got huge, and now Dallas-Fort Worth is it's actually two cities kind of mashed together.
Okay, I just thought of something. Why local? Maybe why these groups work better, because the only other thing are conferences, and they're all over $1,000 often. A lot of SEOs, the smarter guys, or the newer people in the industry. Fuck, I was in this industry a decade before I could afford to go to a conference. That's literally to be able to pay for the ticket. I think that has a lot to do with it. Now that you really think about how that thing, how SEOs group and meet, and I think that's a very good point. That if I was going to start another organization, I would start a big organization, but I would organize that the local area by trying to get as many people who knew about SEO in that area to look after that group. Just saying, anybody wants to do that in Toronto, I'm here. Jim would probably join us, I'm sure.
I'd be in. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. We could meet in the park and have smokes or something.
Mm-hmm. Have a Canadian meeting.
That's right. Canadian
every April 20th.
I want to touch on something that both Bill and Steve were kind of talking about. That's the idea of communities. Bill was looking at it geographically. Steve was looking at it like, interest-based. We used to have these conferences. At these conferences, people would come out with really good ideas, and you had to these ideas had to be good and tested because you're going to say them publicly. There used to be 4 or 5 daily journals who would cover every conference. Webmaster Radio used to be at every conference, giving coverage. People, Terry, you said it took like a decade before you were able to afford to go to your first conference. Well, when I first started with Webmaster Radio, we saw it as our job to bring the conference to you. We can't bring you the whole conference, but we can cover things and bring you the salient points. And what we didn't get, Search Engine Guide would have gotten, or Search Engine Watch would have gotten, or Lauren Baker's publication, the Journal, Search Engine Journal would have got it. You know what I mean? And there was a responsibility of the industry media to bring actionable information back to its readers. I want to jump back to that Click Z is SEO dead ? Article. There's a failing, and we're there too at Webmaster Radio. We're on the. I'm going to critique our coverage too because it's not as good as it should be. There's financial reasons, and there's there's only so many bodies to cover so many events, sort of reasons, right?
I think I don't see as much live blogging as I used to from the events. Is that just me or?
No. The media isn't showing up and it's not doing its job. We're chasing, and necessarily so, we're chasing the things that'll pay us. Because that's the only way, for Webmaster Radio at least, we can't afford to send people off to 8 conferences a year anymore. We don't have the sponsorship. No one's paying us to do that. So we have to go where we can, find monies to keep the station going. Otherwise, we would be going to all the conferences just like we used to, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, right?
I know they're getting pretty expensive. What is it now, $1,500 or more per conference per day or whatever?
As media, we get in for free, but we got to pay our own way to get there, right? And that means paying for 3 people, a producer and 2 reporters.
Wow.
Even if you're just one reporter.
When you're paying to go to a conference and you're paying for a plane and you're paying for a hotel, guess what? You're not saving much money from what you would have paid for the ticket.
$3,500 right there, just to show up. You have to eat, you have to fly, you got to stay, you got to take a cab to and from the airport. Yeah, $3,000 to $3,500 just to go to a conference.
Yeah.
Not including the price of admission.
And you got to think that's how a lot of information in this industry, the reliable information is disseminated. So that kind of shows you it's a pretty elite group, isn't it?
But again, I say, Terry, if you can't get into the show, it's up to us to bring the show to you, and we're failing you at it. And the reason we're failing you at it is because we can't afford to. The sponsorships aren't there anymore. I remember there was this party we did for PubCon 2007. I planned and executed a $70,000 party at PubCon. It was amazing. Anyone who was there, remember, we had Cirque du Soleil people falling from the sky at this party. That was all like Microsoft money. It wasn't Webmaster Radio money. That was Microsoft money.
Yeah, they may have been overdoing it a little bit.
And, well, the point is, though, that paid for us to come and give amazing coverage from that PubCon conference. We kicked ass there. We brought good stories to the public, but that was 2007. That was the magic year before 2008, which was the bad year. I was really proud of what we were doing.
Jim, the point you made about major corporations, not especially the search corporations, not supporting these conferences I'll agree with that because they were not around in Toronto hardly at all.
Man, nobody supports the Toronto show. It's the Toronto show is for a 36 million person market. That is like, pocket change to a Californian.
Yeah. But
nobody supports the Toronto show. But you don't see the big houses supporting the San Jose or the San Francisco show. You don't see them supporting the New York shows anymore.
No, not but again, they used to. Fuck, I remember the first time I went to SES Toronto. All three of the major search engines were there, and they had big space.
And you had incredible media coverage coming out of those events.
Yep, and they were on BNN and all kinds of old media as well.
Yeah, because it was worth it for us to show up. We showed up, we got sponsorships. That's how it worked. People sponsored radio shows because we were there. That money isn't there anymore. The same thing can be said for. I remember when WebPro News was sending Mike McDonald and a cameraman around to every show. WebPro News. You don't remember them anymore, do you?
No. Rings a bell, but I don't think they're relevant anymore. Sorry.
But there was a time that group rocked. They were my direct competitors. I was working with SitePro News. But I loved what they were doing anyway. They rocked.
You guys were everywhere with George. We showed up. You guys were everywhere with George.
Steve, how are you, sir? I mean Paisley. We got the other Steve. Okay, Paisley, what's up?
Dude, how you doing?
Oh, we lost Bill. We chased him off.
I miss all these faces. Holy jumping! It's a conference thing, eh?
You were there everywhere, dude. I remember this. Who's talking?
Gee, Steve, who curls your hair? I like that look. That's pretty cool, man.
You oughta try that.
Or what?
Do what?
Hey, how are you, sir? I mean, Paisley, we got the other Steve.
We got some poodle
I
hanging.
think you're playing the video there somewhere, man.
Steve, turn off the board, dude.
Is that me?
Yeah, you've got the video.
It was me. Yeah, all right. I'm good. Awesome. What's up? Damn, I got bad hair there, huh? Mushroom head. No, that's what it is. So, what's up, guys? No, man, you guys, George used to be everywhere for Webmaster Radio. It was Scary SEO. Remember that, like 2002, 2004, whatever the hell that was? And then PubCon in 2007, I was at that one.
That was a great party. Now, the point I'm trying to make is the media. It's hard for the daily journals to show up, for Webmaster Radio to show up, for any of us to show up because it's a financial thing. It costs so much to go. Well, we got to solve this problem because that's where the information that we got to be getting back to the public is. We were talking about educating clients, educating the consumer, and also educating new practitioners. The model's breaking down. That's one of the problems.
I totally agree with you. Some guy popped into the SEO Doc. Remember this? The guy that popped into the forum and was like, I started doing link building and I can't find the backlinks to my site in Google Webmaster Tools. How would I do that? And so then I said something back like, hey, are you sure you shouldn't be doing this on a client, dude? Do you know what you're doing? And he's like, no, and just started to tell me I was a bad person and I probably shouldn't comment in this community and all that kind of thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude. And so I actually explained to him, okay, here's how you go get your stuff found in Google Webmaster Tools. And then he was a jerk, and I went, well, I guess you're just a jerk. And I blocked him, banned him, reported him. He's over. So
yeah, I can't tell you how many times Steve and I used to see those on the boards. It always starts with, I'm doing some work for a client, and then it falls with some really simplistic or stupid question. And it's like, Wow. Everyone's just turned themselves into avatars here.
Do what?
Everyone's turned themselves into avatars here. Oh, yeah, this thing just rolls on all afternoon long, so...
Oh, it's Friday afternoon. Wait a minute. Wait, is it... Oh, you know what time it is?
It's Friday, but yeah, we'll probably throw you and Doc out in about 25 minutes. Oh, yeah, for anybody still watching, anybody still tagging along with us, by the way, 1 hour, well, 55 minutes from now, Doc and Jim will be reprising some, not really this stuff. Doc and I did sort our monkeys out, but they'll be talking a little bit more about the role of SEOs and things like that later on. And I will drop that on the show page for people. Anyway, sorry, Steve. Go ahead, man. Oh, Bill, you found your camera. Congratulations.
Invite me, seriously. Yay, Bill! What's up, Bill? Hey, Bill. Remember the other day you and I were talking about this invite and stuff like that? That got sent around to my office because that was just the way we professionally handle stuff. Because we got to a point to where it's like, Bill, dude, I don't want to argue with you. I respect you, and you're the same way back. So it's kind of like SEO love. We're going to be professionals. All of a sudden, it stopped. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the Jim Hedger thing that you guys were talking about earlier. Is that old schoolers? We don't play, and we got a lot of mad respect for each other.
Mm-hmm. SEOhippies.org. Yeah. The next thing.
I saw a new SEO Dead article.
Yeah, that's what we started this whole afternoon with there, Bill.
Yeah, it was in LinkedIn this morning, and I responded.
Oh, LinkedIn one. Oh, just share the URL if you got it.
I said, there's a point where link bait just becomes cliche. And when it becomes cliche, people get bored with it, and they don't pay attention to what points you're making. They just see the title. And their immediate stock response isn't, I love what you're writing, let me subscribe to your newsletter. It's,
you fooled me, you asshole.
Write something different. I'm like bored of this.
Okay, did you know that Blogger Outreach is a really cool thing? Got lots of links. Is that new? No, wait, no, that's not new.
And guest blogging, yeah.
Google ranking, no, that's not new. Wait, I swear, Bill, we do like a news show every week, as you know, right? I sit there trying to find actually interesting stories to even read these days, and I just glaze over the titles and the topics all look the same. It's always this, and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. Except that SEO by the Sea guy, he's got that's where I was ghostwriting, remember? Yeah, but yeah, it's redundant. What's up, Max? Happy Friday, sir. Good to see you.
Good Friday. I had a bad evening and morning. I clicked 2 buttons and wasted hours fixing what I did.
Oh.
One was I upgraded my phone, and the other one was followed a bunch of people on Twitter with 1 click on my app.
Oops.
So, yeah. How is SEO world?
We are awesome here today. Thank you very much. Just another beautiful Friday. We spent the last hour debating how to fix the world of SEO, and I don't think we really got far with it, to be honest. I think it'll still be broken come Monday.
Bill is still breaking it?
Well, no, just crap hats, the general industry reputation, and everything in between. I think we kind of hammered over.
Could somebody screen cap this and send it to Dana?
Can't
Somebody what?
Screen cap this and send this to Dana. Put this up on our Twitter stream. If you take a picture of what I'm doing right now, put this up on the Twitter stream, it'll make her day.
You got a doc?
I can't even make it out what it says.
Someone just take a picture of this, and if somebody tweets this to Lookadoo, it's going to make her week. She'll have a great weekend if you do this.
All right, hold on.
Because it's the name and the hat, you get the idea, right? And this is Dana's company that she kind of let go of because of her injuries and stuff.
All right, man, I got it.
All right, thank you, guys.
No problem.
Gotta support each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. There we go. So what have you been doing, Max?
So are we just sending her a picture?
Apparently, yes.
The screenshot that I took?
Or tweet her and say, look who I found in SEO chat, Lookadoo, something like that. Just get it out there, and this will put, honestly, we'll probably put her in tears in a good way.
Yeah, I just stepped away. We're sending something to Dana?
Oh, sorry, yeah, he's got a picture with her own company.
Jim, for your benefit, I'll replay.
Oh, dude, okay.
Okay, now look at the name underneath the picture, Jim.
Under what picture? Your picture?
Yeah.
Jill Paisley.
right? Okay, you remember this from a long time ago? Scary
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah.
All right, that's what you needed. Oh, for Dana, it's going to make her cry in a nice way.
Oh, don't cry, Dana. We love you.
Well, no, and whose company is this?
Yo, SEO.
Thanks. I don't know.
Yeah, now we can make
It
it out.
is.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
Dana's company.
Oh, there we go.
Black Hat. So Dana's company, Black Hat. Come on, guys, put it together. Do I have to explain it?
Oh, God.
We're analysts, damn it. Doy.
You've been missed, ain't it? You've been missed, my friend. Yep. Oh, God.
Okay. Coffee time. Back in a sec.
All right, man. Bill, you have a magical shining light in front of your picture. What is that? It's the side of a monitor or something, I think, there, Max. Is that the side of a monitor? Yeah, it's focusing in on it, whatever it is. Yeah,
I'm used to that. I'm used to that kind of behavior from Bill.
I didn't hear you. My computer was making too much noise.
Was that the computer or someone on the computer?
What is that light? It's like Christmas. Wait, it's that thing called the sun.
Yeah, on a glass.
Don't touch it. It hurts.
Oh, is that a glass beside his camera? I can't even tell.
It's a big giant light. Every time I go outside, I see it up in the sky.
Yeah, when I was a kid, played in the basement, my father would say, "See that door? Never touch that door." Years went by and I never touched it, and one day I opened it and I saw things I had never seen before. Like the sky and trees, cars.
Yeah.
Boy. All right, I need a refreshment since everyone's getting over here.
I gotta run, guys.
Hey, is that my cue that I got to go to, Doc?
No,
Free, right? Or noon your time?
I'll give you a shout about 15 minutes prior, and
Do me a favor, send me the link through Skype so that I don't totally screw it up.
will do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you. Great show, guys. See y'all later.
Good seeing you, Doc.
Hey, I have a question. This is the first time I've dealt with this before. I've got a client where I had to disavow a bunch of links for them. So what we're doing is we're building the site up with new clients. I mean, new content, a lot of content actually, and then try to promote it through social media. Is there any other things that might be done if we disavowed probably about half the links?
Okay. Assuming you had really good reason to disavow them, right?
Well, what happened was their old SEO guy died, and then they hired this company, and immediately after they hired the company.
Seriously, I've always wanted to write that in a recon request. The SEO that used to be a name for this project is no longer with us.
Yeah. But he was a great guy, and he did very good stuff, and so they hired another company. Immediately hiring that other company, their traffic got cut by, got decimated. It, dropped from, 400 or 500 a day down to like 10 within a month, and it's been around 10 or 20 since then. And they don't have any manual actions, but what I saw in their backlink profile was a lot of links to the old easy article, all the old stuff that used to do okay. And so the only thing that I could imagine from that was, link issue, and so we disavowed all the links that didn't have to do. It's for villas in the Caribbean, so anything that didn't have to do with travel or stuff, we got rid of.
Why does there have to be some type of relevance link between the links and the site link to?
Well, I mean, after that story with Doc and them slamming his site for that one link that didn't seem to be an issue.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure that came to him through the fucking fact he was in the My Blog guest user database.
Yeah, I wouldn't go by what happened to Doc for.
But anyways, a good site, a good site, a legitimate organic link from a good site is always kept. I don't care.
Yeah, no. I mean,
you're not getting penalized.
Now, Johnny was talking about links from serious crap.
So I'm kind of with Bill on that. But, obviously manufactured stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go wholesale disavow. I mean, I went through thoroughly each link and, only disavowed.
Now, were you just being proactive? I was getting a drink. Now, these guys got a penalty, or were you just being proactive? Or
no, well, we saw that we saw their traffic just get destroyed.
Did you hold it?
2013 after they hired this.
Did you verify which update it was hit by?
Say that again.
Did you start by going to analytics and identifying where the problem happened, and if there was a known update?
It seemed to. I went to analytics, and it seemed that it happened after they lost the old SEO guy and they hired this new company.
Yeah, but what Jerry's saying is you got to cross-reference known dates of stuff. If it's a page layout algorithm, if it's a panda date, if it's
let me ask a question.
Date, you got to establish that.
It'll answer your questions, I'm sure of it. Hey, Johnny, when this new SEO crew comes on, that's when the links from places like Easy and Articles start appearing, right? I'll bet you that's where the problem is.
Well, that's basically there's a lot of links that were just and they were to SEO sites, links, SEO.
Sorry, Johnny. For me, article marketing, not something that Google attacks like that. It's too easy. Those sites have already been smashed to fucking bits.
Okay, but Terry, what if you have a perfectly good site, you hire a craphead SEO team like today?
Yeah, but he said article marketing.
Link. What happens?
If he said article marketing. If it was just article marketing, no way. If he said it was spammy profiles on, a lot of forums, then I would go for that for sure.
Well, I think we can assume they were submitting under aliases to Easy and shit. I would if I was a spammer.
Yeah, but those links, Jim. Sorry, in my opinion, Google has been ignoring those links since the first Panda.
But do they ignore a pattern of behavior where a whole bunch of those links were acquired quickly?
I mean, what could have gotten it? I mean, I'm going to pull it up right now on analytics, and I can give you the exact date. What we're doing now is we're building really, really quality content on the site that's going to make it stand out to its competitors in terms of the amount of history about the island and, going all the way back to 300 years and whatever.
Good question.
Where's it getting published?
Where's what getting published?
The good content. Is it only being published on the site?
Yeah, how are you getting it out there? How does Google know it's there?
Well, what we're doing is we're publishing on the site, and as we're publishing on the site, we're posting on their Google Plus profile the ULR to the new content with some description.
Yeah, that ain't gonna do much for you.
Are you teasing it too? Throwing stuff up on Twitter, throwing stuff up on Facebook, going back to Google Plus every couple days, putting up another teaser about this content?
We just started to finish. We're close to finishing the content. We have not published it yet. I'm sure. We just disavowed the links, and so we're almost finished with the content. I'm going to meet with the client next week to talk about the strategy on how to bring the content out. I mean,
You got that date yet? Did you get
There's
that date for GA?
yeah, I mean, it's November 8th, 2013. I don't think that's the correct date. I had all their old Google Analytics information, and then somehow it got scratched. But oh, here, I know where I can look for it. Hold on.
Yeah, while you're looking for that, I just want to mention, there's two things I think about when I think about promoting stuff through social media, promoting web content through social media. One, I want to use social media to inform the search engines that this URL exists. I don't expect much to happen from that, but I want to take the action to let them know it exists. Number two, I want to drive live humans to that URL because that really shows the search engines that something is there. So that's what I was saying. You do a couple teasers throughout the week to bring them back again, or to get attention for that piece that was posted up.
Now, I don't have a huge Twitter. How big of a Twitter following do you?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because other people have followings. Think of they tell two people, so on, so on, so on.
The social signals don't go by quantity.
Okay.
That's nonsense.
Want to bet? Quantity.
Quantity brings more people.
Top points.
Right.
Which one
But
are?
as far as Google is concerned, they
quality. Are you using Twitter beta? Fuck, there's like 53 of them at least that I can think of that I started around one day and then I don't know.
Okay, here I got the
you
date.
can't tell that stuff is moving ranking. Fuck. You can't
One of
tell
those
that
things,
that
Johnny.
stuff is moving rankings, Steve. Sorry.
What was the date, Johnny?
January
wait.
2012. Let me do a screen share.
Hold on.
Harry, what was define the question again, please, sir?
Can you just give me a second, please?
Strip kitties.
Here's the screen share.
Jim?
The SEO Rush graph. And you'll see it's just been going down and down and down since then, and it's really gotten slammed.
That's January what?
That's January 2012.
And the analytics match, your Google refers match that?
I don't
an
have
SEM Rush fan.
that far back. I don't have that far back.
Oh.
But on analytics.
Oh.
Look at that! Holy shit!
Downhill.
Yeah, SEM Rush is bullshit though, Jim. Don't get excited about it.
No, and the length of it.
Oh, dude, don't use that crap.
Oh, God, you're
it's
using
not
the
even-
wrong fucking tools there, Johnny boy.
God, dude, you're gonna jack your shit up. Don't use that shit.
Okay, got it.
You're fucking using a tool that wasn't meant to do what you're doing.
And
Is that around January 22nd?
Google, hey,
Wait,
no fucking
whoa. Hold on. Where was the date again, man?
The beginning of it, January 2012.
Dude, no.
2012.
That's Google.
I'm looking, Terry. I'm looking.
It's Google.
I mean, is this just totally worthless data?
Yes.
For what you're doing, yeah.
Well, because I mean, here's the Google Analytics, but
Oh, that's the one you want to look at.
I know, but the analytics information that I have
Terry.
back to November.
Terry. January 18th, 2012 was Panda 3.2, and January 19th, 2012 was something called the Above the Fold update, which is obviously
that,
really.
Goopla, right?
Right.
Is Goopla.
So that you got Goopla and Panda kind of problems, not link.
Yeah.
Disavowing links.
Got nothing to do with the links, Jimmy. Johnny, you
Nope.
disavowed links you didn't have to, probably.
Oh no, possibly. We haven't totally looked
Possibly,
at
yeah.
his data in totally, have we?
But
Like we've got 2 dates out of them from one short SEM Rush graph.
Yeah, which is not really anything definitive worth shit.
So I bet you there's more to Donnie's story than we know right now.
Okay, wait, hang on. You're gonna skew your data because you're going from October 1st, 2012 to July 16th, 2014, and you need to go from actually what's that point? Stop where your mouse is right now. Go back.
Yeah, what Steve said is you're going to look year over year as well.
Well, right. But that means you're basically nothing. So at this point, but you're also going to skew all your numbers and percentages because you're having 2 years of zeros, pretty much.
Well, they switched something on the site and they've lost. You know, we don't have that data.
Well, I understand, but with Google Analytics, your reporting period that you're using is October 1st, 2012 to July 16th, 2014.
Got it.
Tighten that up to where you've actually got where your traffic starts and use that for your percentages. Now you're going to have better numerical representation at that point. Yes, exactly. Wherever that first point is, where you get your first
By the
tick.
way, good looking, got proper data to be doing forensics. That looks like a bit of a nightmare.
Right?
So,
We go for the easiest shit first.
yeah. Okay. So here we're.
I mean, if that's now when you then do that, now look at your pie chart.
Okay. There we go.
Pie chart stays the same. Now, what do we have here? We have a dip in traffic that looks like a normalized bell curve, and you have almost what looks like a very large peak. Were you doing link building in there? Yeah. Is that a big link building thing?
No, we didn't have. I've basically, the people that built the site did not give me full access to the site until about 3 weeks ago.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, they wouldn't give the owners full access to the site. I couldn't get in and do anything. So I mean, the past 3 weeks I've been trying to diagnose what the issue is, as well as build up a lot of really good content.
Looking at your graph here, I see a recovery that seems to be taking place in the last 3 weeks.
Well, I mean,
that looks to me like
a site redevelopment.
a week ago, they lost all their traffic and it came back to where it was.
A week
you know what that looks like, Terry? Somebody did a site redev without 301ing anything.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what that looks like.
Click on acquisition.
I think what happened is the analytics got pulled out for a minute.
That's what I'm thinking. That's definitely.
Let's go. Okay. 70% of your visitors are new. Come on, let's go. Acquisition. Come on. Next. Click.
Okay. Where to? What? Where?
Acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Acquisition. Channels.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at Google specifically.
Okay. Organic search is.
It's just half of it.
So your direct versus your organic?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's people typing your stuff in, or that's probably you, right?
The direct
thing or Yahoo.
No, actually,
yeah.
They say that they have a lot of reoccurring customers, people that come back to it. It's bungalows in St. Martin.
Okay, so by the time they've typed BUNGO, they're getting their URL.
Do you do email campaigns?
We have, we just got access to the site. I'm meeting with them next week. I mean, it took a long time just to get the developers to let them have full access to the site. We have, I don't know I don't know if they've been getting a lot of emails.
All right, real quick question: are you budgeting or paying anybody for social? Yes or no?
They're doing their own. G+. I've been coaching them on G+, and that's all the social that they have right now.
Okay, well that's I'm just looking at percentages. So basically, find out about email campaigns or direct. Figure that number out because that's almost half your number of organic search, so that's a large part of your traffic. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying. All right, now go to all traffic. All right, there's your Google, there's your direct again, there's your Bing Yahoo split, right? So
yeah, and so their Facebook. They do have a Facebook. I mean, it's minimal compared to everything else.
Yeah, I would. All I'm wanting to see is the big three: Google, Bing, Yahoo, and then your direct right there, and the rest is crap. Click on our referrals. please. Okay, so we got 100 links from D Tiger and SEM Elt. Guess what? What's SEM Elt?
Oh, I see that all the time too. That's a new search engine.
It's a fucking scraper, and that right there fucked you. Excuse my French, sorry.
How's that?
Well, because anytime you have links from questionable sources, you become in a bad neighborhood. That's why they have disavow links, right? So did you ask them to put a link up, or are they just scraping you?
No,
I'm sure they're just scraping.
So scraping. I get hit by that thing too, but it sends traffic, or seems to.
So the
scraper I'm actually recording.
Right, and so the thing is what you want to do with these links is go. I mean, really?
Oh, Blue Villas, right there. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have downstream AdWords?
No.
Okay, so is that your page?
No, that's not the website. No, that's your
stuff on their website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what this is? This is called guest posting or link spamming. That's basically a content marketing thing. And so whoever's doing this shit for you, you're not using reputation.com, are you?
No.
Okay, this is the kind of crap they do. Because realistically, there's no reason you should be on there. But they built a website on dtiger.com. They built a directory, Home Family Rafaela Blue Ocean Villas. Okay? So Rafaela family has anything to do with Blue Ocean Villas? No! This is just a fake-ass blog with fake people that they just put your stuff up on and made a directory on. And they've probably done this for 5,000 to 10,000 people. Feel me?
These guys are scumbags. How do I...
Scumbag, and now you're a scumbag too because your brand's on this page.
Block their robot.
They have a whole page. No, they have a whole page.
They probably don't follow the robot.
You own the copyright to Blue Ocean Villas? Trademark, copyright, anything?
This is the website itself. I mean,
answer my question from a legal perspective.
There's a copyright right there.
Copyright.
Yep.
Do you own the copyright?
I don't own the copyright. It's not my site. It's my client.
The client does, though.
Okay, go back. Here's my point, okay? At this point, you own the copyright, so instead of worrying about the link builder, find out who the host is, okay? So find out who is. Pull up a Google real quick. I'm going to show you.
All right, here, hold on.
This will teach a lot of stuff.
Do we give up?
Okay.
And these other guys are good.
So
who is space, and then pay. No. One word, dude. Who is? I didn't say who space is.
Okay, got it.
Oops. Hey,
John,
Mom.
you're gonna love this tool.
Okay, I'm on a conference. I'll call you back. Love you. Bye. Sorry.
So go to number 2.
Did you get the cookies?
God, dude. Oh my God, the extensions. All right, so there we go. Click on the second one. Oh man, you're pinging. Oh, dude, you're screwing up your website if you got Blue Ocean Villas in every one of those damn extensions, dude. Because you're pinging Google on every one of those every time you load a new page. You're pissing them off.
Say that again.
All those extensions, didn't you? Go back. Okay, right here, right? GoDaddy, right? Okay, so the host is GoDaddy. That's who it is. The NS, where's the NS? NS43, NS44. So the name servers are domain controlled by GoDaddy. Okay? Because if you do a who is on domain control, you get GoDaddy. I'm just saving you time. But at this point, right now, scroll down, see who the admin is. Okay, nothing. They got name protect. So at this point, you would want to go to GoDaddy and look at how to file a DMCA takedown notice. Okay?
Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Right, but the thing you're going to say in your subject line of your email is DMCA copyright notice. Okay? What you're doing is you're telling the ISP, i.e. the host, GoDaddy, that they have 48 hours to take this stuff down because you are the original copyright owner, or they will be fined $15,000 a day. And you can get a lawyer, and I can tell you one who'd be happy to collect that if they don't take your crap down in 48 hours after you send them a letter. like this.
And do I give them the name server? That's the way to connect.
No, at this point, you just show them the page, dtiger.com/blueoceanvillas, the page.
Okay.
You go on GoDaddy's website, and there's a procedure for DMCA. You're going to have to find some copyright information for the client, or go to uspto.gov. Go on uspto.gov in your window. Let's say your client's a small business doesn't know actually about copyright, right?
uspto.gov.
Yes, sir.
United States Trademark and Patent Office.
Okay. And at this point, you're looking for patents, trademarks. You're looking for click up there, search site. Go up at the top, search site, and put in Blue Ocean Villas. The way you would normally type it. No. Hang on. Do you always smash all the words together, or do you use spaces in a normal usage?
Yeah, no, it's on the website. It's
Blue space ocean space villas. Yeah.
Smashed together.
That is the well. Hang on.
Actually, the rights reserved down here. Martin Luxury Villas Rental Blue Ocean. I bet you money that they did not copyright this. But,
okay.
But
no, at this point,
all you have to do is put it on a fucking website, and it's covered by fucking copyright. It's nonsense that you have to buy and pay for copyright.
Okay, well, legally, if you want them to follow procedure the way they're supposed to, you must have some kind of legitimate copyright number protection, etc. Because every copyright has a number assigned to it, just like a patent or trademark.
Just write the host and say, you know what, these idiots are stealing our content. We're going to sue you if they don't take it down. It'll get down. You don't have to bother with DMC and all that other nonsense, right? Just contact the host directly. Never seen it where the host...
So that's where I'm coming from, Terry.
Do you find this, have you guys found this often? Or not so much?
I do it every day, all day, for Fortune 50 clients. I do one of these things every single day, at least. I have to go get the documentation to give to their attorneys for them to write the letter, and I have to give them all the pictures, all the stuff, everything they need to send this. And I do this at least once a day, and sometimes I do 5 and 10 a day.
Right, Steve, but there's a difference between a Fortune 500 company and Blue Ocean whatever. Okay.
Well, we get to the point to where there's no intellectual property.
There's no use in using a fucking sledgehammer if you need a fish for finishing nails.
And the quickest way to find something like this is go to all referrals on Google Analytics.
Yeah, because you start to see those are the people that are scraping your crap. Because you got Crawler, right? They're crawling your page and scraping it in case you update it. Right here, number 13. Scroll down.
Got it. See it. Yeah.
Seriously? Okay. Now, how are you getting links from Wikipedia? Do you have a listing in Wikipedia?
Not that I know of.
So how are you getting referrals for Wikipedia?
Where's the Wikipedia referrals? Oh, number 14.
Somebody might have referenced them in a footnote.
Well, right, as a spam tactic. Hello. Is there anything? So now go to Wikipedia and search for Blue Ocean Villas.
Do you think a competitor did this?
All right, hold on.
SEO. Wait, this is negative SEO, dude. Keep going.
Shut
Hi,
up,
Blue Ocean Villas.
Shut up, Steve.
This is
all right, Bill. Sorry, Jim. Fuck, Jesus. All right, Jim.
Actually, no, I'm interested, dude. I want to see what happens. One sec.
All right, okay. You thought you said you were leaving there.
So. You gotta jump. I'm burning time right now, but I want to see how this works out.
Oh, that's the. Well, we're giving
Economy of St. Martin. There you go.
Come back. Oh man,
Yeah.
It was right there.
Wait, look. Citation.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Excess. Oh shit! Go back. Go back.
All right.
Wait. Stop. Don't move. Copy blueoceanvillas.com/ what's that page name? Go grab that and go look at it right now. .htm.
Yeah.
You got a WordPress website?
It's a WordPress. Well, it's a WordPress site.
Okay, now put .htm at the end of this. Hang on. Don't put the www. Just .htm is all you need. At the end. Yeah. HTM. Enter, please.
Got it.
What the hell?
Oh, because There was a gap on the C.
Okay, that's right on. Well, now you got to put it back in the browser. You guys want to know what I do all day, every day?
This shit.
What was that redirect? What the hell was that?
That got redirected, huh?
That joke.
You might want to update your WordPress stuff, dude. Did you do that, Paige?
I did not.
Paige.
I'm not knowing if.
Different things. Okay. So now you need to take that URL you just cut and pasted.
Yeah.
And you need to go into Google Webmaster Tools and use the URL removal tool immediately.
You rock, Days. Guys, thank you so much for having me. I got to jump over to Doc's Hangout. So be well, everyone.
Likewise. Yeah, I'll slide over there in about 10 minutes or so. Help support the cause. So.
Again, thank you all. Talk to you later.
Peace out, Jim.
Thank you.
What,
Now, do I do